Hi, my name's Ben. I work for the Game House, and before Week 5 begins on Thursday, I want to go through and give every single team and every division a first quarter grade. Now, I know for the first 4 games used to be the official first quarter. There are 17 now, but by the end of the season, the 17th game, a lot of teams won't be competing. So we'll just call this the first quarter. And we're going to start with the NFC North, and we're going to start with the Green Bay Packers. So obviously they began their season with a blowout win, 38-20 over the Bears. The Bears are one of the worst teams in the NFL. They might have the first overall pick again, so not really learning too much about the team there. A 25-24 loss to the Falcons, in which the Packers absolutely collapsed in the fourth quarter, especially the defense led by Joe Barry. Once again, the run defense was awful. They should have won that game. They had the lead almost the entire time, and then they fell apart at the end. So really bad look, but the offense didn't play too badly. The game against the Saints was also super interesting. They were down 17-0 going into halftime, down 17-0 all through the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, a furious 18-point comeback, including a 2-point conversion. Shows a lot of resilience. Defense played decently well, but that's how the defense should be playing on every single game. They just happened to put it together in that one. Really good win, though. And then the Thursday night blowout, 34-20, doesn't really tell the story. They were down 27-3 at halftime. Got absolutely ran over again thanks to Joe Barry's defense. So pretty bad look there. So overall, I think you have to give the Packers and their first-year starting quarterback Jordan Love about a C+. The defense has looked awful. It's also looked great in some spots, but mostly awful. But Jordan Love is putting it together. The coaching is bad. The players are good. And that's worthy of a C+ if the coaching can get it together. Next is the Bears, and we don't have to spend too much time on this one because I feel like we all know what the grade's going to be. Obviously, they were hoping Justin Fields would take a huge step forward. He hasn't. He kind of blamed the coaches for his bad start. Tried to walk it back, but we all know what he meant, and none of us really blame him for saying that. The 38-20 loss to the Packers, 17-27 loss to the Buccaneers, 41-10 loss to the Chiefs. That game was over by halftime. The Broncos game was interesting because they were up 28-0 at halftime and then allowed a 31-point comeback. That defense has just been awful. This is an easy F-. They were supposed to take a step forward this year. They've taken 2 or 3 steps back. They are truly awful, and they might be in the running for Caleb Williams. All right, next up we have the Lions, which is another interesting one because a lot of people had the Lions as their surprise pick to go deep in the playoffs, win the NFC North. They began the year with a great win, 21-20 over the Chiefs. The Chiefs were without Travis Kelce and Chris Jones in that game. Lost to the Seahawks in overtime, 37-31. Gave up a ton of yards in that game. 20-6 win over the Falcons after the Falcons had come back to beat the Packers late. And then, of course, they beat the Packers 34-20 in that blowout I already talked about. Given that this team was supposed to be awesome, this team was supposed to be great by a lot of people's standards, they really haven't done too much to impress me. They beat the Chiefs, but the Chiefs might not be very good. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that. They're 3-1 and they've been looking better, but they played some bad teams. Gave up a ton of yards to the Seahawks, who are a good team. Falcons super up and down. They did shut down the run game, which is actually huge. They absolutely deserve props for that one. And then the Packers, who I said are kind of a middling team, great talent, bad coaching. I'm going to give them a B-, closer to a B than a C+, but a B- considering they were supposed to be this juggernaut this year. Finally, for the NFC North, we have the Vikings, 20-17 loss late against the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, who's been looking good. 34-28 loss against the Eagles, who haven't been playing that well. Very late loss against the Chargers, who went for it on a 4th and 1 deep in their own territory. The Vikings then turned it over to hand the Chargers that game when they had a great chance to win it. And then a 21-13 win, their only win of the season, over the Panthers, who are 0-4, starting a rookie quarterback behind a very bad offensive line. Can't be too impressed with that, but they did get a win, and a win is a win in the NFL. So I can't quite give them an F because they are putting up numbers offensively. That defense is still bad, but Justin Jefferson is still good. Kirk Cousins has been surprising people again this year. Jordan Addison has looked good. Alexander Mattison has looked terrible. Again, mostly the defense is just really, truly awful. So I think you got to give them a D+. Closer to a D than a C- because this looked like their division to take again if you ask a lot of NFC North fans, but haven't really impressed that much. So that's the NFC North. We're going to be doing this for every single team and every single division in the NFL. I'm going to have all of these up before Week 5 begins on Thursday between the Bears and the Commanders, and thanks for watching. I appreciate it.